What's going on, guys? I'm Nathan and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do DIY projects, kayak mods, gear and bait reviews, and fishing technique videos. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and please subscribe so that you can help build this family and community I'm trying to build. Today, we're talking about spinnerbaits. Stick around. Okay guys, so when it comes to the world of spinnerbaits, there's a lot of different things that you need to take into account. Not only the style of blade, but they come with all different color skirts, all different color paint presentations, everything like that. And I'm going to try to weed through the weeds, so to speak, to help explain it to you. So let's start talking blades. You have a Colorado blade. So we'll just use this one. That's what this one is. This is a big spinnerbait. It's a 1-ounce spinnerbait, but that's a Colorado blade. It's a round blade. Now, what that does is it moves slower through the water and it makes more noise. The blade makes more noise. Spinnerbaits have multiple presentations when you run them, but the Colorado blade, they have flash and they have sound. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to water conditions, stuff like that, when you're starting to run a spinnerbait. All right, so the next blade that we'll talk about is a willow leaf, and that's what this is. It's a willow leaf blade. They're skinnier, they don't make as much noise, and they move faster through the water. All right, moving on. You have multiple different types, like I said before. But this is a plastic Colorado blade, and then you have things like dual Colorados, dual willows, and then you have a Colorado and a willow. All right, so we'll talk rods. Let's be honest, I run it on whatever rod I have it tied on. I don't really pay attention to rod when it comes to spinnerbaits. You can use them on a medium. I prefer to use a medium heavy. You can go moderate. I do a medium heavy fast, just because it has a heavier gauge hook on it, and I like that backbone when I'm trying to drive that hook in. You can put trailers on them, like I have on this big one. I got a 4-inch, I believe it's a Kitech. It's been on there a while. This one's been on there a long while. As you can see, when I rigged this one up, I rigged it normal with the tail facing down, and then this one I have the tail facing up. That's just because I'm playing with different presentations, seeing how the tail works with the different blades, but also between chatterbaits and spinnerbaits, because I use them pretty much in conjunction. The areas where I will fish this, along grass lines, you want to run it parallel, so you want to get as close to parallel as possible. In a bass boat, that's not that difficult because you have a trolling motor that can hold you in place. In a kayak, that's a little different story. I'll try to back myself into the grass on the shore, and then I'll stand up and fish it parallel. That's not always the best option for the area you're at. You just have to pay attention to your surroundings and try to present it the best way possible. Now, that being said, you can also catch fish just running it from the bank. So throwing it to the bank and running it back to yourself. I've caught fish off of doing that. When would I use a spinnerbait? Well, it all depends on how choppy the water is. The choppier the water, that's when you want to break out your chatterbaits, your spinnerbaits, your crankbaits, stuff like that, stuff that makes noise, because that water, the wind hitting the top of the water and making it choppy is also making noise under the water. So you have to counteract and combat that to get that bite. Gear ratio on the reel. Seven, at least a 7-to-1. I would think that's what I run them on. Usually a 7, 5-to-1 is what I run a spinnerbait on. I typically use 7, 5-to-1 as my all-around gear ratio reel. I have a couple different gear ratios. I have a 6, 4-to-1, a 6, 5-to-1, I believe. So I use the 6, 4-to-1 on my Black Max, Abu Garcia Black Max, and I use that for my crankbait rod, stuff like that, because it's a medium action, my jerk baits, stuff like that. But as far as gear ratios, I don't really think it's that important because I've never had trouble taking up line. Let's see, what else could I talk about? Line, I fish it on fluoro. I use a improved clinch knot on my spinner baits. I know some people use different knots. That's just up to you, shooter's preference, so to say. One thing you do want to pay attention to is all this. So like this has a barrel swivel right here. That's where the blade gets its action. This has some beads, and then it has this little buckle looking thing right here on the wire. You want to make sure that if you're running it through grass and you're getting caught up in moss and stuff like that, that you clean it off, because that will prevent your spinnerbait from having the proper action. And then all that silt and stuff can get built up inside this barrel, and if you don't clean it off, it'll dry up in there, and then who knows what's going to happen. One more thing before I let y'all go. The wire. Now, when you take your spinnerbait out of the box, you want to make sure that that wire is in line. If it's not, you can bend it. It's wire. Now, if you've caught a couple fish on it and it's starting to bow out like this, just don't be afraid to grab it and bend it back. It's okay. It'll be all right. So that's really all I got today, guys. Just get out there and catch some fish. Make yourself better. Have fun. Teach somebody else. That's how we keep this angling thing going, teaching our future generations. But if you like the content, please subscribe. Go check out Monster Bass. You guys get a sick t-shirt like this. They're super comfortable. They also offer hats and stuff like that. I think I have little trucker hat they got at Monster Bass. It's not my style, so I don't wear it. But I am thinking about doing a subscriber giveaway with that included. So I know a couple videos ago I talked about doing a subscriber video giveaway, and that would be a $20 giveaway where I go buy baits that I fish in the climate and time of year or season that you're in, and I will mail it to you. I will also include that hat. That's like a $20 hat, so that's a pretty good deal. But probably next video we'll get into that. If not, I don't know. It'll happen, believe me. But as I always say, you guys have a great day, and let's make the world a better place.